So the Manco Big Cat. We'll call this a project update. I think I'm going to do a few project updates and kind of pick up where I'm at and then fill in with videos of stuff that I've got of getting here. Anyway, this was going to be get it running and clean up a couple things, fix the throttle, and straighten the front fork. Well, it turned into something a little bit more than that. I got most of the crackhead paint job off of it. The red powder coat, it appears to be powder coat underneath, is actually in okay shape, but you know, I don't want it looking like this. So as this turned into, we're painting it. At some point I noticed that the engine wasn't mounted right. It was missing a bolt and it was crooked, so that came out. That's sitting right there. I did straighten the front forks. Maybe if I have a good picture, I'll post that picture. But since everybody bends the front forks, I figure everybody bends the front forks bigger than most people anyway, so you know, probably more likely to mess it up than other people. So I got a set of ATC forks, which I figured out how to convert to work with the mountain bike style headstock, which I'll show you guys at some point. And then I converted the forks to work with the 1-inch axles that the Manco hubs and everything use. Everything that came off easily got taken apart and blasted and powder coated. There's some here. I don't know, handlebars are somewhere. Maybe I'll post a picture somewhere if I've got a good picture. And this got sanded, and in the process of getting rid of the, in the process of scuffing it, getting it ready for paint, anything that was loose came off. So that meant that most of the black, most of the blue, most of the metal flake or whatever that was all came off, and we have this. There are weld boogers everywhere on this thing. If you look at like that area back in here, I don't know if I can get in there. I don't know if that's focusing. We'll see. It's one of the few places I haven't ground them off. This motor plate was completely covered in them, and I ground them off. There's a bit of rust in these areas. This green primer is self-etching primer, and basically I put a coat of it on everything that was bare metal, or most of it. I guess they're still a little bit exposed. Next I'll put a coat of high build primer on everything, scuff that, and we'll paint it. So let's see. I don't know what else people want to see. We'll go from there. For what it's worth, we're going rattle can for the high build. I'm usually pretty happy with the Rust-Oleum stuff, as long as the can sprays to start with. I've had a problem with some of the primer cans not spraying, but as long as it sprays to start with, the Rust-Oleum stuff out of can is pretty good. The final color right now is actually going to be some Rust-Oleum quartz stuff that I am going to kind of custom mix a color that I like. It's I've been kind of narrowing down where I am with this color. It's probably going to be the same color that I'm going to put on the car eventually, but I've done a few things in something similar, and I know where I'm going. But it's going to be some of the Rust-Oleum gray mixed with some blue, and I'll probably either use some Japan dryer or some hardener in that to, you know, make something a little bit more durable. But for now, we're going to give this stuff a shot, and we'll see how it builds and how it sands. Hopefully it sprays well too. Anyway. Well, that I'm reasonably happy with. I kind of focused on the areas that had scratches on them, had some marks on them, things I wanted to cover up, the welds, anything I wanted to be smoother. Some of the stuff you can kind of see, like darker areas on the big flat panels. That actually isn't a coverage problem. That is, I wasn't able to get the spray can in there that close, and it's, oh, I don't know, about 95 degrees and killer humid, so the stuff was drying in the air. But that'll sand fine. I think I'm gonna take a pass and sand it down, and maybe just scuff it and paint it, or this was 2 cans, so I've got a little bit left of the second can, and hopefully that'll be enough to touch up anything that still needs to be touched up. Well, not really the update I was hoping to do, but it is an update. After I finished sanding all that high build primer, I was back to splotches of places where I could see the old powder coat and stuff like that, and it probably would have been okay, but I don't know, I didn't feel like messing with it, so I had some of this stuff sitting around. It's Rust-Oleum's professional stuff. This isn't high build or anything, it's just basically a primer. So I actually gave the whole thing, it goes down mostly like a sealer normally would. So I basically gave the whole frame a nice coat of this stuff, which comes out really smooth. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's still a little wet, but this is the way it's going to dry. So now I have a nice smooth, even finish. And I think that's what I'm going to spray the paint down on. Now, unfortunately, we've had about a week of this kind of stuff. In the viewfinder, it actually looks more blue than it is. Days like today have been just basically cloudy all day, threatening, to rain with some thunder and stuff. But like most of the days, we've actually had, significant storms and rain and water. If it's dry tomorrow, I've already mixed up the paint, and I've kind of gotten to a color that I like. I thought it was going to be 8 parts the smoke gray and 1 part royal blue. It ended up being 10 parts smoke gray and 1 part royal blue. And it still might be a little blue, but we're going to try that and see how that goes. And that's already mixed up. All I need to do is I'm going to probably run some automotive enamel hardener in it, and maybe even a little splash of Japan dryer, so it should harden a lot harder. Hopefully, if I'm lucky, I will have this painted tomorrow. If I'm not lucky, well, tomorrow's Saturday. Sunday, the weather's supposed to be a little better, but typically Sundays I don't have a lot of time, so we'll see. But honestly, I like how this looks right now. So that's the update. I spent the last maybe day and a half basically soaking these all in paint stripper. I actually use citrus strip, the new stuff without the methylene chloride, which doesn't work great, but it at least loosened up. These used to all have a lot of blue and black overspray and again, metallic sparkles and flake and stuff on it. And basically I just let them soak for, I don't know, about a half hour, an hour with the stuff, and then I would scrub it and use basically an orange oil cleaner, almost full strength, and I'd go back and forth until I got them, like the rear fender. This used to be all blue and sparkly, which I'm actually pretty happy with how that turned out. The stuff that didn't come off is there's white. It almost looked like concrete stuck to the tank and a couple of the covers. I got some of it off, but the tank has more of a texture, so there are places that just didn't want to come off, like in there. It's still, I don't know, I'd say that's 95% of it's gone. I'm pretty happy with these. I think with a little bit of polish on them, they're going to look fine. And, you know, this thing is going to be covered in mud, hopefully most of the time anyway, so I may decide to fog the tank with a little bit of black plastic spray paint, but this is where we're at. I'm actually happy with how these turned out. So I've been really concerned about that because nothing seemed to want to touch the stuff, and just basically letting it sit with the stuff on there was probably the best thing. So